Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Total Nonstop Impact TNI, Impact All for Impact fans. Right now, it's going to be a solo show, probably a pretty brief one for me to go over the Better Late Than Never TNA Sacrifice, TNA Plus special. So I know short notice, so hopefully maybe a few of the TNI fam will wind up showing up in the chat, but obviously with the time difference in Texas and some of the rest of the crew's schedules and things going on, couldn't make it on Friday. It would have been real late for me to go solo by the time I got back. So getting this out before I check out of the hotel and head back home. But definitely want to get it out there because if not, it may have been a couple more days. So didn't want to have you guys waiting too long. So since it's a solo show, it will probably be more of a speed run. But anyone that does obviously drop in, we'll definitely get some comments up, even though it's short notice. But if not, definitely check in on the comments after we went live, and we'll make sure to obviously go in more detail with J-Bone and possibly anybody else when we do the full review for this Thursday's upcoming show for the fallout of Sacrifice. But definitely big show. Big crowd, obviously, on Friday, over 3,000 people. And then it looks like the 2-day record from in quite some time that they did in Montreal, that has been surpassed as well. So with the TV tapings that happened on Saturday. So definitely a lot to look forward to as we now head to Rebellion. Great show overall. Definitely let us know what you think if you are around in the live chat or in comments later on what you thought for Sacrifice. But obviously, I put up the ladder match. I think that was the show stealer, but we'll get into more details as we go over the show. But once again, thanks to our members on YouTube and Twitch. And like I said, this is short notice and getting it out before heading on the road. So if it's either morning, afternoon, or evening, definitely appreciate anybody that's catching us. Let's see, Clay here asking, do you know if they're going to be hiring some knockouts anytime soon? We need some, especially in the tag division. I think they're always looking, so we'll see. But definitely, I think that's something to pay attention to as we go towards Rebellion here. I think you're definitely going to see some changes with the knockouts. I think you're definitely going to see some building because obviously some storylines ended and you got some stuff building up again. So something to stay tuned. There's a good friend of ours, Justin Miller, in the chat. Good to see you, Justin. Hopefully all's well. But I won't waste time. I'll get right into Sacrifice because obviously we had a lot going on. It was a big show for sure. So we start out with one of my personal favorites, the team of First Class on the Countdown show. AJ, Francis, and Casey Navarro taking on the team of Laredo Kid and Octagon Jr. I know a couple different names. I know they were coming out as like the Aztec Warriors, but definitely, obviously, the El Paso crowd giving them a big pop. And some of the best heels in the business right now, obviously with First Class. Oh, there we go, Justin, doing good, having some pancakes for breakfast. I know if you're a long time TNI listener or viewer, that's been something I've talked about for quite some time, is the idea of TNI like breakfast, TNI AM. But just haven't had, they would have to be kind of like a solo show, obviously with you guys. I was thinking about doing it today, but just too many things going on a travel day. So it is still morning here, but I was hoping to maybe hit it maybe at 11 a.m. for everybody on the East Coast too. So, but yeah, let us know if you are having a little breakfast and what do you think about a early morning or afternoon show on a weekend, if that's something that interests everyone. But back to the Countdown show. There was some shenanigans involved, but First Class does get the win here. So getting the crowd, getting the crowd some heat on some people just to start out. But it was, but once again, I think you saw early that the crowd was way into it. I know I put it out there, like outside the parking lot going in. That was probably the most people I saw, like just outside of a show in quite some time. Like just how it's set up with the parking lot, it was just packed. But yeah, no, great first match. But yeah, there was also had Francis and then obviously KC, like kind of faking that injury, and then almost trying to take the mask off. But no, big win for them to start it off. You get Gia Miller backstage with the liaison, Ariana Grace, but they were interrupted by Tessa Blanchard, who, as we know, no one gets more heat than Tessa right now. Then we get the System and the Colognes saying that they're going to win the night in the 10-man tag cage match, 10-man tag team cage match, and the X Division ladder match. We get Ryan Nemeth reminding that his big brother will be returning to TNA tonight at Sacrifice. Now Friday. Then we get, let's see, we got another chatter here. We got Paul. Hello from Scotland. Good show. Didn't watch live, but audio wasn't in sync with picture, which was annoying. I did hear a little bit about that. And anybody that watched live, let me know if there was an issue live, because I have heard it on people, I guess, that watched the replay. If there was an issue also live, or if it was just a replay, let us know. Next, we get our second countdown match, which is hold on here. Go back to notes. We get Sami Callihan and Mance Warder starting their street fight. And you like come and kind of, you hear it in the back, and then you see them come out. Hold on a sec here. Grab this. Yeah. So pretty much like you had the start of it at the end of the countdown, but then it goes into the main show, the street fight, Mance Warder and Sami Callihan. So that may have been a little awkward as you were kind of starting off, but I thought it was a good way to kind of go after the viewership on the app, to have something start and then go over for sure. And honestly, I thought this one was, I had a feeling this was going to be one of the times where maybe they started the match and then had it continue, like while I was like, then aired other matches while it was going on, so that this did have a finish. I thought that was the right call. And I thought Sami, I thought it was the best Sami looked in one of those, obviously his style of match for sure. But and then I was not expecting the end spot with Steph there. But that was definitely a surprise there, where she definitely was able to use the old dust, the old infamous Fuji dust, and powder into the face of Sami to give Mance the win there. So Mance gets the win. I have a feeling we're not seeing the end of this, but I'm liking it. I'm liking obviously Mance Warder since he arrived here. Following up, I see next Spike. No problem watching live for me. So maybe it is a replay issue that hopefully will be corrected on the app. I got Eric Isaac. Oh, yeah, definitely a great weekend. Obviously, a lot of people in attendance. Hopefully some people that also wind up seeing this definitely chime in if you were there live, what you thought about the show as well. I know the El Paso fans are really into it, because for those that don't know, it's pretty far from all those other major cities in Texas. Texas is huge, so it's not one of those ones where you can easily travel and go to El Paso. So when live wrestling, TV wrestling pay-per-view wrestling comes El Paso, they show out. And it was evident from both nights that they were there. They're bringing, because you got to remember that time difference. You were talking what the pre-show start time. That's 2 hours difference. So you're talking like a 5:30 start time on the pre-show. Main show at 6 on a Friday. So a lot of people kind of coming right from work. It's like so some tight windows. So definitely supported it for sure. And I'm sure they'll be back after all that. Justin and saying Sami looked good in the match. Definitely was one of his better matches in a while. I agree. I think obviously Sami had that major injury that he was coming back from, and just like we've seen with everybody else. Remember when Rosemary had her injury? Like it just takes time, and but definitely a style match that I think helps Sami in that one as well. But definitely looking good, which is a great thing, because obviously Sami's a key player. So obviously you want to see him in the best health possible. What was the attendance? Definitely over 3,000. Seems like maybe closer to 3,500 for Sacrifice. The TV, not far. Like, honestly, I don't think it was probably too far behind there. But it definitely looks, like I said, today beat the Montreal, which was I believe their highest in like 9 or so years. So now this is, and once again, you're talking a TV taping, which, like, usually they can get good crowds, but not crowds that big. So kudos. We follow up by, now this was one that was hyped up because the entrance was featuring the singer of Tessa Blanchard's theme song, Crystal Poppin'. But Tessa Blanchard versus Lei Ying Lee. And this one, once again, it's a broken record. Definitely Tessa, I feel, obviously one of the best in-ring performers, knockouts or otherwise. But I think, once again, very good match. It started, I guess, now the second match officially, but first it started on Sacrifice. But I thought this was Lee's best match since she joined the company. There was a wicked move there, sort of like a brainbuster type move that was gnarly. But it was a very good match. Tessa comes out on top, and I think you're definitely seeing, like, obviously Tessa is really building up some momentum here for sure going forward. But definitely something to keep an eye on, because we know her and Masha are kind of like having those teases right now. But how long, it's kind of waiting until we get to that. We'll see. We'll see for sure. But once again, I thought Lee looked great in this match, so expect some more from her going forward. But obviously Tessa gets the win here. Saying hello to the actor, our good friend and senior TNA official, Daniel Spencer, in the chat. Good to see you, Daniel. Not sure if you've traveled back yet, but if not, safe travels back home. And then be seeing you at the end of the month outside of Kansas City for the next tapings. And if, once again, with Daniel Spencer in the chat, if you have not seen it yet, make sure you check out the new feature film, Queen of the Ring, in theaters now. We'll get to it. They obviously were also a sponsor at Sacrifice, but I saw it on opening night near me. What was it? Not this past Thursday, the Thursday before. Very good film. And see our very own friend, Daniel Spencer, in the movie. So check it out. We get Gia Miller backstage with the team of Joe Hendry, Matt Hardy, Elijah, Nick Nemeth, and Leon Slater about the steel cage match. Jeff Hardy's also there talking about Moose. And then you get Ryan Nemeth just popping in. And then Gia does remind him that he's not even in the match tonight, which good job by Gia to make sure to keep him in check. Okay, so then we get Lucha Rules 6-man tag match featuring the NXT team of Wesley, Tyson, Dupont, and Tyriek against the Rascalz with obviously Trey and Zach and Ace Austin as the third man on their team. And this one was good back and forth, almost like crowd obviously behind Rascalz and Ace. I wasn't sure how this one was going to go because it felt like Wesley was maybe going to pull this out in his team, but the Rascalz do get the win. You can see a conflicted Trey in this one, especially after the match. Obviously, former Rascal there, Wesley. So with definitely some emotions going there, but a big win for the Rascalz because we know this has been going on for a while. So once again, feels like is that the end? I don't know. I think we still might see some more from these guys. Following that up, we get Steve Maclin talking to Gia on his match with Frankie Kazarian, the self-proclaimed king of TNA. Now this one, I think we're seeing Maclin kind of, he's back. He's got his footing back under him. He's back on a roll, and he gets the win here against Frankie in this match. So definitely, it seems like, because obviously post World Championship, there was kind of Steve Maclin was involved with the stuff with EY, and he's still obviously now differently involved with stuff with EY still. But it is one to keep an eye on because it definitely feels like there's a big push now with Steve Maclin, a well-deserved push for Steve Maclin. But you're definitely seeing Maclin, like obviously with Kazarian, that's a big win. He does obviously have the gauntlet for his title shot, which he's going to pick that time, right? But right now we're definitely seeing it, even though we still get involvement from EY. That's kind of making this go certain ways. Obviously Maclin doesn't want his help, but he is indirectly still helping Steve Maclin here. But ever seeing Maclin join the Northern Army, I'm not seeing it, but we'll see what happens. Because obviously he was out there. So we go from that. We are backstage again with talking to the champ Spitfire, who's talking about they're going to be beating the team of Elegance with the personal concierge in action. Like now this is just entertaining. Obviously 3-on-2, but the concierge stealing the show with the I knew he was going to come with some type of outfit that was going to just get the people going, and he did. The Kiss My Ash gear. No, he's up there. Like I've said for a while, like as a valet manager, Lish does about as good a job as anybody, kind of bringing that back to what it should be in wrestling. And then you got the Iceman, friend of the show, who is just knocking it out of the park in his role. And then obviously getting in ring here, taking some bumps, but the heat that he brings, it's great. And this is a feud we saw for a while. I thought maybe previously that Elegance was going to take these titles, but they actually did it this time. They were able. Yeah, there you go, Mr. Chippendale, otherwise known as the Iceman. Eric Isaac, Iceman, best body in TNA. That's no joke. Come on, man. He is. I was waiting for Rick Rude in the Ultimate Warrior. It was going to be a pose off. Maybe even get Jesse the Body in there. But good job. Obviously, congrats to the Ash and Heather. Big title win and great run by Danny and Jody. But once again, but But some could say the influence of how this ended might be an NXT surprise that happened in this match, where you had the Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend show up after the match to obviously now be the next possible contenders. So interesting to see because we know we saw some potential for some that NXT Knockouts tag title when you had the combined team of Rosemary and Wendy Chu. But now obviously you have another team of NXT challengers looking like they could possibly be heading. So stuff to look forward to. I think that I know there's been a lot of talk over the last couple months about the Knockouts tag team division, and I think you're now starting to really see that playing out. So we'll see if they can maybe add some layers in the division, because we know it's usually been only like maybe 2 to 3 teams, which once again for a 2-hour show and then Explosion, there's not a lot more room for that. But I'm looking forward to it, and let us know what you think about the new tag team champions, the title change at Sacrifice. Paul saying the personal concierge was the highlight of the match. Hopefully this feud is over now. Need more teams. Like I think that's the one thing. Like I'm sure just like everything else, like you see feuds get revisited, but definitely I don't think you want to have like 6 or 7 teams, but maybe about 4 to 5 contending teams. But once again, tough to do with limited TV time. So we go from there. We follow that up, and we are now we're going with one of the better. Now this is something that definitely happened. Let us know your thoughts on this. The entrances that were done at Sacrifice, because we're going in obviously Mustafa Ali versus Mike Santana, the best feud I'd say right now in TNA. With definitely a lot of personal things going through there, a lot of good segments that are really highlighting the feud here, touching on some real life personal stuff. But you get obviously Ali, but then you get Santana coming in. Obviously, you're in Guerrero country and doing the lowrider entrance, coming through the gated door, the gated garage door. Very cool entrance, getting the crowd all hyped up. And this was one, obviously, a lot of momentum for Santana in this. But you did have, obviously, the great hands and press secretary Steels getting involved. And then definitely some ropes being used at the end there for Ali to get the win. And then, obviously, he does the insult to injury at the end by taking a beer from a fan, putting it on the ring to kind of just put it right in front of Mike there. Definitely, once again, knowing that this feud is not over yet, because it would seem too early to have, like I said, the best feud right now in the company being ended that quick. So just adding layers to it. Sure, and we already know they announced that there's going to be a rematch, I believe, this Thursday. So it'll keep on going. So we go from there, and we get our title match here. We get the Knockouts World Championship, champion Masha Slamovich against Cora Jade, and this one, we get Ariana Grace on commentary, but I thought this was probably like at least like the best Cora Jade match I've seen since involved in TNA for sure. And probably like, cause I did see her obviously when she was Elena Black on the indies. And she had some good matches there, but I think it was probably even like comparing to those, one of her best. And I thought Masha looked real good here as well too. But she did get obviously the win for sure. So I don't know if we'll see Cora Jade much going forward, but that was a very solid victory for Masha. We'll see if there's any follow-up, obviously, both on TNA Impact or on NXT. But kudos again to Cora Jade, who I think gave even a better match than the guy I was expecting. So I think that was a pleasant surprise. Like that, what's that? Kudos on that Canadian Destroyer on the apron. Was not expecting that. Then we get what I think, obviously, was one of the dream matches for me going into the show, and I think it did not disappoint one bit, and that is the X Division ladder match. Champion Moose against the legend, master of the ladder match, Jeff Hardy, one half of the knockout, the TNA Tag Team Champions. But obviously, good build up from Tom Hannafin and Matt Raywald. That obviously all the ladder matches that Jeff has done, and this is the first ever ladder match for Moose ever. So you have someone that's never done it and someone who's the master of it. So really kind of weighing those options when you have the champion versus the challenger. But this one, and once again, you could kind of tell, like from the match, like this was like Moose, like not familiar with it, like struggling with the ladder at times, struggling with some of the stuff setting up there. And then obviously Jeff having much more ease. But once it actually got into the action and the moves and using the ladders, like definitely Moose was fitting in there. The now look out of sorts. And obviously some wild stuff going on during this. Like big spot from Jeff off the ladder onto the table. But this was one, obviously Moose gets a table for the ending there and gets speared to do it. But it was the body drop where Moose went onto that ladder with no give at all. It was a very good back and forth. Obviously, Jeff would have a lot of control in this match, which he did. But Moose does come out on top, undefeated in ladder matches, the X Division champion. But just luckily in those other matches, even though Jeff did look a little shook up, luckily both guys came out looking okay, because definitely a dangerous match, no doubt. But let us know your thoughts. And what was your best match of the night? This was my best match of the night. Then we get the official announcement from Santino that it will be Santana versus Ali this Thursday. And Great Hands and Tasha banned from ringside. And the announcement that Chavo Guerrero Jr. will make his TNA return. So you got some news there. Then we get the return of First Class. Money. With the Penthouse, the First Class Penthouse back on TNA with a special edition here for Sacrifice. But then they get obviously you get a little bit of an interruption from the Aztec Warriors there, and they're not happy about that, but they are promoting their new T-shirt and their promo codes, which was what was it? Francis 15 and KC 15, I believe. So definitely be on the lookout for that new merch on TNA merch, and you can use their codes to get it. Who's will you select? But then that was pretty much and kudos to the crew of Johnny Bravo because getting the rig set up for the main event, the steel cage match. Who he was timing, and he was right on it. I think they actually finished it, I think, halfway into this segment. So they had some room if they needed it, but they actually were able to get that segment done very quickly. So the steel cage up very quickly. So kudos to them. Obviously, first cage match since the AXS TV debut. But it's main event time. And that is the 10-man tag team match. A little bit of lethal lockdown rules where you have the one man started, like two men started, and then obviously then come out repeatedly as the match goes on. So start out with Eddie Edwards in the ring, and then against Elijah. And this was another time where you had a great entrance. Elijah coming in on a horse. So you're not walking with Elijah tonight. You're riding with Elijah in El Paso. So great entrance. Kudos once again for the Big Show field to do more with entrances. I thought that was a great move by them. Credit to everyone at TNA for going, oh, we can do these special entrances tonight, and that was a smart move. But once again, obviously, as you're getting in there, you're getting some advantage, and obviously using the cage at will. But obviously, you get to the end there with everyone in the ring, and the spot of the night, we were calling for it, and it definitely was Leon Slater, who did the Swanton 450 off the top of the cage. And once again, none of us kind of knew what kind of cage it was going to be. There's only, like, because obviously you have the infamous Elix Skipper cage walk. Obviously, that's a different style of cage. Like that type of cage, you cannot obviously do a cage walk on. But I think obviously the spot off the cage, that was something that we thought he would do. He did, and once again, that was a show-stealing spot there for sure. So once again, Leon Slater, like, pay attention there. That feels like he's definitely going to have a big run this year. And that was kind of like organic. You just kind of saw like him showing himself up in these matches, and he continued to do so. But obviously, you have the faces win here, and then obviously they're exiting. Everyone's joyous, but then you get Ryan Nemeth obviously gets in the ring with his brother, but it winds up where they get the door shut and they're attacking Matt Hardy in the cage. You get the Nick Nemeth heel turn that we thought was going to happen at some point. It didn't happen, but now it's obviously he returned at Sacrifice, and we get the Nick Nemeth heel turn. So obviously Matt Hardy kind of came out of there, and then you got both of them. Everyone obviously they're trying to stop it. Everyone's coming back, but they're fending them off with that 2-on-1 advantage. Takes a while. It does go off the air. I know they did show the footage afterwards. Like, eventually it is Leon Slater that eventually gets all over the cage in there. And then eventually Elijah actually pulls the door open at the end. He's actually, the brute force of Elijah was able to open it and then get everything kind of settled. But the damage was done. The Nemeths put the beat down on Matt. I'm sure there's going to be some fallout from this. We'll see what we see on Thursday. But that was Sacrifice. Great to see the cage return. Something that was obviously missing for quite a few years. So, yeah, that start. Maybe you get a lockdown event again in the future. But once again, these are steps forward, just like everything else with the attendance, the bigger shows. I think but obviously you've seen themes return, and I think that's another one you're going to see return. But once again, let us know. I know this was an unexpected late review, but wanted to get it up there before too much time passed. So before the travel back, wanted to at least get my initial thoughts with everybody, but we'll follow up much more this Thursday. And who knows, there might be some discussions on maybe some other content coming your way that TNI can offer through TNA. So stay tuned for that. And I know, obviously, the TNI UK team will be on Wednesday to also discuss Sacrifice. So get their thoughts. And then you'll get J-Bone's thoughts and some more follow-up from myself this Thursday before we discuss Impact on AXS TV and TNA Plus. But once again, everybody, thanks for, especially for the live crowd, for joining me here at the last minute. Much appreciated. Always enjoy. If I can't, I always like to wait to see if I can get some of the TNI crew to do the show together. But it's great, obviously, when everyone is joining us in the chat as well. So once again, if you weren't here live, put your thoughts in the comments on the YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Let us know what you think of Sacrifice. What was your favorite match, and what do you maybe want to see going forward to Rebellion? Definitely felt, like I said, this was a TNA Plus special, and obviously we talked about on Thursday they got the new package where it's really only an additional $40 a year now to get those 4 tent poles included with TNA Plus. So if you're a TNA fan, it's definitely something to take advantage of. So once again, thanks for everyone for joining us today, and we'll be following up with you again real soon. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications for just like today, even if it's last minute or unannounced, you know when we go live. So once again, everybody, appreciate you stopping by, joining me, and hopefully you all enjoyed Sacrifice as much as I did. And we'll see you with TNI UK on Wednesday and back with the TNI Impact Review on Thursday. See you later, everybody.